Okay, I want to continue with my previous video, managing a project using Microsoft Project part 2. Okay, now I want to show you how basically after we done with the work program, meaning to say the project have not started yet. Now let's say the project is about to start. What shall we do? Okay, there are a few things that we need to do. Okay, before we go into that, let's open up a folder that we did the previous project. Okay, remember the previous project name is Infra Works. Okay, it's related to infrastructure works. Some very simple activities. Okay, before we even start doing the updating and whatnot, okay, I would like to do a few folder management. I call it folder management. You can do that. You can do this, or you don't have to do this. But believe me, once you try to update a project, then there will be many different files that you're gonna have, and at the end of the day you might lose track of those files. Even though you have put the dates, sometimes it is very difficult. It is better to basically put those files into folder. Okay, I have created folders. I call it 1, 2, 3 and 4 type of folders name. Okay, the first one I call it original, second one is I call it plan, and then the third one is actual, and then the fourth one is compare. Remember the original file that we have been working before. This is basically, we call it original work program. What I can do is I just simply copy this file, just copy, and then put into this folder number 1, original, paste. Okay, so the original file is always in the original folder. So whatever happened to the file, let's say I do update the file after this, I will not touch this original file. The original file will be there. That is the idea behind folder management. Okay, what I can do, actually, I paste into all the other folder as well, because these are the files that we are going to work on. It is based on the same file anyway, except you do not copy into the compare file, because that will be the later one where you are going to make comparison between the plan versus actual. Okay, so remember, when we start doing a work program, actually we are doing the planning of such work program. We have not started the project yet. We just simply plan the project. So in folder number 2, so this is what we call the original file that we have. We are planning to execute such project. We call it infra work. But I normally will rename this file. Okay, I will rename it. For instance, I will put underscore P indicate plan, and it is in the folder number 2. All right. Next step, what I am going to do is basically to generate data based on my tentative progress schedule, or progress claim. Normally, progress claim we are going to submit every monthly progress claim, but it depends. Actually, when you update a project, you need to update it daily, but then you can basically finalize your update using some kind of interval. Either could be weekly, monthly, bi-weekly, and whatnot. Okay, what I am going to do, I'm going to generate a project values in terms of financial progress and physical progress out of the planned work program. So once you have those data, then only you can compare with the actual work program. Okay. Remember, let me open up this thing. I already generate a what we call visual, okay, visual graph. Visual graph represent financial work program. Let me open up those file that I did last time. This one, okay. This is what we call S-curve. S-curve that I generate using visual. Okay, visual meaning to say, let me click on project, report, and you see visual report. What I did last time, I click this one, and then I click cash flow report, and then this what we call level of usage in terms of years, quarters, month, week, and days. I choose week, and then you click on view. Then the Microsoft will generate visual report. Visual report meaning to say this one based on financial, cumulative financial progress of the project using the scale of weekly. I can change it to daily, whatever I want. But when you open up, the chart is here, then the task usage. You see, every week, let's say week number 1, this is the value. Okay, the value is there already. Let's say week number 1, and then week number 1, and then week number 2, number 3. It is shown here. Okay, whatever that you want, all right, is already here. But the issue is that how do we show in terms of values in Microsoft project? So that is the one that I'm going to show you. Okay, now open up our Microsoft project. In order to do that, okay, we need to add a few columns. Okay, a few columns. I call it, I just simply want to delete this column, hide column WBS, and then hide column, just simply hide column first. Then only I insert column. I insert on percent complete. Okay, then I insert on actual cost. Okay, so now the actual cost is 0 and the percent complete is 0 because we have not generated any what we call data yet. Okay, let's assume we want to update our project every bi-weekly. Okay, since our project is very short, we do not want to generate monthly. We are going to generate bi-weekly. What would happen after 2 weeks of the progress? How much would we achieve in terms of financial progress and even physical progress? So physical progress will be shown in percent complete here, whereas the financial progress in terms of ringgit or cost will be shown in this column. And then how do we do that? Okay, let's click. In order to do that, first click on task. Okay, click on task. There are a few steps that you need to basically do. First thing first, project. Click on project. Project information. Double click on that, and you notice there is a current date and status date. Let's say you want to generate a what will be the tentative progress of your project for the next 2 weeks. Okay, now remember we start our project 1st October, and then click on this one, go to October. This is October. So this is the first date of our project, okay, but we do not want the first date. We want it the end of second week. The end of second week will be 14th of October. So this is the date that we want. Current progress, meaning to say, in the next 2 weeks, what would be our progress? Status date. Status date is also, we are going to put 14th of October, because when you print out the report, you want the date to be generated based on the same 2 weeks interval. Okay, so you see, two of the same date that I already set, and then I click OK. That will be the first step in order to show the physical progress and financial progress. Nothing happened yet. Then you click on task. Second step, you click on task. Then you are going to click on this small button here. You notice there is an update task. Okay, update task. No, wait a second here. Project. No, we do not want to update tasks. We want to update project. Okay. Okay, update project is under project menu. So update project, see? You notice the update project, and then you click on update project. And then this 14th of October is shown here. This is the date that we want. You just going to click on OK. Click OK. And then you notice there are some figure coming up. You see, 2 weeks after we start the project, supposedly, you see, you notice 15. The progress of our project supposed to be 15% in terms of physical progress, and the amount of work supposedly we are going to achieve 19,040 ringgit. That will be for the first 2 weeks. And I already prepared the chart here. You notice, so this is the date we start the project, okay? And then you see, this is the date, this is the value that I generated, okay? I mark it yellow. You notice that 14th of October, the target column B here is 19,040, and then the actual cost I don't have it yet. That will be the next exercise that we are going to do, and that will be in our folder number 3. Now we are only working on folder number 2. So these are the value that I am generating, okay, in terms of financial and then physical. You notice that this is the value. I should highlight it yellow. Perhaps I should highlight it proper. Okay, I only have, okay, that should be the proper highlighted. Okay, you notice now, these are the value that I generate. How do I generate? Okay, I go to this Microsoft project. Again, I click on project information. I set the date, okay, the next 2 weeks. Then I click OK, right? And then click on project again. Then I update the project and then click OK. Then only this value will appear. Okay, you notice that if I click on project information, double click, and statistic, you see the statistic show actual. Okay, actual. The cost is 19,040. Okay, this is the amount that I am getting there. And you notice that the duration progress, this is what we call physical progress value. Duration 15%. So that is what physical progress normally being associated with. Actually, it is associated with duration. So the value is shown in the statistic, but since I already insert 2 columns, percent complete and actual cost, so the cost is here already. What I will do next, okay, I will rename this file file, I will save as. Okay, I will save as in folder number 2. Okay, folder number 2, this is the original updated file based on 2 weeks, but I have not renamed that thing yet. Okay, now let's put it 14 October in order to make sure we can trace based on the date, and then click save. Okay, so now I already generate values financially and physically based on the 2 weeks of the work. Okay, next, how about the next 2 weeks? The next 2 weeks will be, now is 14th of October, because our project start on 1st October. So the next 2 weeks will be the end 14th of October, and the next 2 more weeks will be 28. Okay, I repeat the same process. Click on project information, double click. I change this one into 28. This one I change into 28. Then I click OK. Alright. Then one more step. Click on project. Okay, if the computer asking to save, no, because I'm still working to generate another values. Update the project. And then 28 is okay. Now just simply click OK. And you notice 33%, and these are the value, okay, for the next 2 weeks, meaning to say week number 4. Okay, so this value, go back to my Excel, which I already did. See, this is the second value that I generate. This is the second week, this is the 4th week. I highlight it yellow. 37,478 in terms of financial. For financial, you can convert into percentage if you want. How do you convert into percentage? Very simple. For the 14th of October, you can just simply divide 19,040 by the whole amount. 119,620. Then you will get the percentage. I do not do that because I just want to show the amount. That would be better in terms of we want to know the amount. You can just simply divide to get in terms of percentage. But for the progress, normally people relate into percentage, okay, because that is a proper way of doing things. Okay, I highlight yellow. Okay, you see, now already finished on the what we call second updating. I go back to my Microsoft project. Remember, I just simply save this file, save as. Okay, double click, and then I change it to 28. Then click save. Okay, so that will be the 4th week. Let's go to the 6 weeks. Another 2 more weeks, meaning to say the 6th week of the project. I can do the same. Click on project information, and then change into the next 2 weeks. The next 2 week will be 11 of November. Okay, 11 of November, and click OK. And then update a project. Okay, update project. See, this is the date that we want, the 6 weeks. Click OK. And you notice we should have achieved 55% of the project at 50,000 ringgit of cost. Now let's go to the Excel. Now we are into the 3rd one. See the 3rd value, and click OK. Okay, we are already generate 6 weeks of information. Okay, now we want to save as. Later on you will understand why do I need to save as. Okay, I will show you later on. 11 November. Yeah, click save. Okay, So we already generate information for 6 weeks. Remember, our project is running for 11 weeks, meaning to say every 2 weeks we want to generate some information about our project. Remember, we have not started our project yet. We just want to generate information as if this is the information that normally we will show to the client our target KPI in terms of financial and physical progress. Okay, let's try on the 8-week project information. On the 8th week, that would be on 25th of November. 25th of November, please make sure all the date is the same for current and status date, and click OK. And then project, update project. This is the date that we want, and click OK. You see, on the 8th week, our project is supposed to achieve 79% in terms of physical progress, and this is the actual cost. And go back to my Excel. See, on the 8th week, supposedly we should have achieved this one, and then physically should have achieved 79%. Okay, we have two more values to go. Go back to our Microsoft project. Remember to click on Save As. Okay, again, we are working on folder number 2, and then change into 25th. Click Save. Okay, now we want to go into the 10th week of work. What would be the progress? Okay, click on project information. The next 2 weeks would be 9th of December. We are getting close to the end of the project, okay, but not the end yet. And click OK. And then you see, next step will be update the project. See, update the project on the 9th of December. What will be the target achievement will be 95% and 115,000. And you see our Excel file here, this is the same as what we should have achieved week number 10. Okay, this is what we call week number 10. All right, and then for sure the last date of the project will be 16, which is not even 2 weeks, just simply 1 week. Okay, after week number 10, what should be the achievement? Well, the achievement should be equivalent to 100%, and then equivalent to the amount of the targeted cost of the project. If you don't believe me, then we go back to our remember to save this thing first, okay, before we do the last one. And then it will be the 9th of December. Click OK. All right, this is the 9th of December, and if you don't believe me, the value that we are going to get at the end of the project, you can do the last one. Okay, project information. Okay, the end of the project is 16 here. 16, not even 2 weeks after the 10 weeks. Okay, so because it is the end of the project, that would be our interval, and click OK. Then update the project. So you will get, you see, 100%, similar to what we have been working before. And it is supposed to be similar because actually we are not doing anything. We just simply generating information based on certain interval that we expect that the client want. If the client want weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, then you can generate whatever the information. Then only you can basically say this is the target. Otherwise, if you do not have the information, then how are you going to basically set the target and to come up with all the what we call strategy in order to achieve the target? So this is what we call, we try to put the target. Okay, target or plan is similar things. All right. Okay, so we already done on generating what we call all the values, and I go back to mine. I can even save this one, which is not necessary, but you can basically learn and copy back what could be my step, and I can guarantee you that you are going to get the same result as mine. Save. Okay, now we are finished on folder number 2, generating values, or what we call target values. This is what we call plan. What I can do is basically I just simply close this file. Okay, I close this file, then open up my folder again. You see, folder number 2, I do have list of what we call file that I generate, and I rename it according to a sequence of interval. For instance, week number 2, week number 4, week number 6, 8, 10, and the last one will be 11, the last day of our project. Then, so we finish on folder number 2. This is how you do things. Okay, this is how what we call a proper folder management. What is folder management? Is for you to put certain values or data into a proper place so that later on you can make comparison or trace back. Okay, now let's go into our folder. So the original folder we do not touch. Whatever thing that you have, the original one, you just simply put into that thing. If for instance you make a mistake, you want to go back to the original still be there. That is the idea. So what I did just now is basically to generate information or data or target values based on folder number 2. Then I finish on that thing. Then I move on into folder number 3. I click folder number 3. So the same file that I have been working before. Okay, but before we even start our what we call exercise on this folder, let me change the name similar to what I did in folder number 2, underscore, let's say A. No, make it capital A. A stands for actual folder, so that we can trace back. Okay, now open up this file. Okay, I open up this file. So I want to do the now what I'm going to do is basically to update the project. These are the real things. Let's say on the 1st October, my project is really started, has started, and for sure when it started, we already know the exact date of starting of activities, and then we can even measure the progress, real progress on construction site. How do we measure progress? We measure progress by looking at how much the quantity of work being done. Let's say if our project is running for 10 days, certain activity running for 10 days, and we do have the quantity of work that we need to complete. For instance, one day we need to do 10 piles per day. So in 10 days, we supposed to 10 times 10 will be 100 piles. So that is a simple calculation. If we have completed project for 2 days, so meaning to say we have completed 20% of the work. That is as simple as what we call the actual measurement of the work progress, which basically we need in order to input into this Microsoft project to reflect the real cumulative physical progress and cumulative costs that have been taken place, okay, based on real situation. Okay, before we do that, okay, let me hide, right? We just simply repeat the same thing that we did before. Hide this unnecessary column. Okay, hide this unnecessary column. I just want to insert percent complete column, and then I just need to insert actual costs. Okay, these are the thing that I have been working before. All right, so before we update a project based on folder number 3, you have to remember one thing. When you want to update a project, the file that you are going to work with, the file must be saved baseline first. Okay, you have to save baseline. The rest of the folder original and folder plan, you don't have to save baseline because that are the plan. You have not started the project yet. But when you want to update a project, meaning to say you want to make comparison between plan versus actual, you need to save your file into baseline first. And the issue is that how do you know that the file has been saved into the baseline or not? Okay, let me show you where to look at. Okay, you can click on project information, double click. Okay, the window will appear, consists of information about the project, and you notice there is a statistic button here. You click on statistic button, and you notice that the current information about project, 77 days, hours is 7,000 work hours, cost is 199. The baseline is 0, 0, 0. So meaning to say we have not saved as baseline yet. If you have saved, for sure, whatever the current value will be copied exactly the same, and that value will remain there forever and ever. It will be locked as if we are ready to make comparison. It is the concept of like it is a taking picture. Let's say you take your selfie of yourself. If you want to make comparison, how do you look before and after the COVID-19, for instance, after 3 months of lockdown? For sure, you need to take picture before the event, and then only you can take picture after the event, then you can make comparison. And this is the same concept. Okay, baseline is simply you log down or you capture all the information, data and whatnot. The computer will do it for you. Okay, then only the computer can show all kind of differences, or what we call it variance, when you update a project. So computer can make comparison, because computer do have the information that already been captured as a baseline, for instance. Okay, that is one way to look at whether the file has been saved as baseline or not. Okay, another one. Okay, let me drag this line here in order to show you all the Gantt chart. The normal Gantt chart will look like this, but now, you know what? There is many Gantt chart that you can take a look at. Okay, you can click on task, and then this Gantt chart will appear. There is a small button here. You can click, and you notice that there is a tracking gun. You can click on tracking gun, and what will happen is that you have to drag this thing, views entire project. Okay, now, so when you click view and you click on entire project, so all your Gantt chart will appear in one screen, whatever screen that you have. If you are working on a bigger computer, for sure it will capture into those screen. That is a quick way of basically looking at the view of every activities. Otherwise, you need to drag this what we call slider, whatever. Okay, now you notice that there is a percentage and whatnot being shown here. This is what we call tracking gun. The one that we show initially is just normal gun. Tracking gun is used in order for us to make comparison or to track our progress. And you notice that there is only one bar for each of the activity, but if I save the project as a baseline, then the 2 bar for each activity will appear. Okay, remember I have not saved the project into baseline yet. How do I do that? Okay, now we go into project, and you notice that there is a set baseline. Okay, click those things. Set baseline and clear baseline. You can even undo the baseline if, for instance, now you are still doing things and then you thought that you already completed and you are ready to save baseline. Okay, then you already set. Click in here. Okay, click on here, and it for the first time when you just simply prepare your work before you even start update, you notice that set baseline, there are so many baseline available. Baseline, this is what we call 0, 1 until 10. Why there are so many? Well, you have to remember, this is what we call plan. When you plan a project, even before the project started, for sure you envision something. You envision that in the next 2 months or whatever, your project is going to be like this and that and whatnot. But in reality, it's not going to be the same, because there is no such thing as perfect plan. So oftentimes, when you are running late, you might want to basically come up with a revised plan, or in the industry they call it recovery plan, because you need to catch up anyway. And when you come up with a revised plan, for sure your old plan cannot be used anymore, because it's based on the old version of the plan. So you want to save as a new baseline. That is the concept. So that's why there are so many baseline available, because sometimes you cannot avoid during the period of the construction. Let's say your construction is 2 years, there will be 100% guarantee changes will happen. Okay, so don't be panic, because you still have time in order to do all kind of changes. You can do whatever thing, because the time is yours. Okay, and then you can come up with all kind of strategy in order to catch up, and then you come up with the revised plan, so you can save into different baseline. And then if you are ready, then just simply click OK. So you notice now there are 2 lines. If you click on the bottom one here, it shows the baseline. The bottom bar, it shows the baseline. Okay, the baseline. And the top bar, the top Gantt chart, is basically the moving what we call Gantt chart. The moving Gantt chart is basically will be moving around based on the information that you key in, whereas the baseline will not be changed. It is being locked. Okay, now we are basically ready to update our project. Okay, we are going to update our project. How do we update? And you notice that we want to update our project for the first 2 weeks. For the first 2 weeks, if you notice on the time scale here, first until here in the middle of the 14th of October here, it looks like activity survey at zone A must have started and must have completed based on observation here. Let's assume. And how about the earthwork at zone A? Earthwork at zone A, supposedly within the first 2 weeks of the project, it must have started already, but then it might not be completed, partially completed. That is our observation, but you need to get the real information from the site. Let's assume, okay, and then survey and zone B, it looks like it could be started during the first week of the project, but it is still on progress. It might not be completed. So you notice that the first 2 weeks, only these 3 activities, for instance, have started, completed, and then started but under progress. So those are the activities that you only need to update. The rest you don't have to do anything because they have not started yet. So if you updated your project daily, then it has become easier. You don't have to wait until the end of the week or the end of the month in order to update. Otherwise, it's very difficult. You can update your project daily, but for sure, you need a dedicated planner or scheduler in order to do that. Because sometimes you get caught up with so many things, you do not have the information. So that's why information gathering is very important. Put those information into a proper sheet or place or whatever so that you can get, okay, you can get the right information in order to update. So how do we do the updating? Okay, now we want to update. Okay, in order to update, you update based on each activity, one by one. Okay, how do you update? Okay, first thing first, go to project information. You can basically, we can repeat what we have done before. Let's say for the first 2 weeks, this is the starting of the project, 1st October. We are going to update on 14. Okay, status date is also on 14 October. Click OK. All right. So we have not done anything yet. We just simply set the date, next 12 week and not next 2 weeks, and you notice that there is dotted line. Dotted line meaning to say the current status date that we are going to update. But we have not updated any of the activity yet. Okay, now we click on each activity that we want to update. First thing, click on survey and setting out on zone A. This is the first activity that I want to update. Then I go to task, then mark on track. You see, I want to update task. This is the button. I can use all kind of the what we call the prescribed button here, but I do not want to use that button. I just going to update manually and click update. Okay, now this is the window that I want. So this window simply asks you, okay, so survey and setting out, what is the actual start date? Do you know the starting date? Let's assume that survey and setting out already started and already completed. For sure, for the completed activity, you already know the starting date and ending date. So those are the information that you need. Only those things. Starting date and ending date of activity. Okay, now since we already know the starting date, let's assume the starting date of activity is similar to our project starting date, 1st of October. Okay, if there is different, then you can put whatever date that you want. For me, I just assume it is it started exactly the same day as our project. That is a good thing. But then let's try to assume on our planning, our project is supposed to complete it on the 9th of October. Let's assume we are not going to complete it on the 9th, but we are going to be completed 2 days later. Delay 2 days on 11. And then I click OK. Alright. So you notice that our some data already generated automatically for us. And you notice that the first activity survey, now there are 2 bars showing here. I already mentioned you, the bottom bar is baseline. Baseline do not change. Whatever thing that you do, baseline do not change. But the moving bar, you see, our project already completed 100%, but we we experience slight delay. So the bar also being extended by 2 days. And when the first activity is being extended, what happened to the following activity? Subsequently, they are being pushed a little bit ahead also. Okay, push back a little bit ahead. So later on, we are going to see the impact to the overall project. What happened to our project? Okay, but now we only update one activity. We have not finished updating yet. Now let's update second item, earthwork at zone A. Earthwork at zone A. Okay, now we click on task, update task, and you notice we already start this activity. That is our assumption, but it is ongoing. Let's assume we start on the same date as the project being pushed. Okay, being pushed on 12th of 12. Okay, the same date as this one, but then the progress based on our calculation or real observation at site, we assume the work is around 20%. That is all information that you need to do. You already know the starting date. You put the starting date exactly as it is based on the actual, and then you only have to put the progress. Don't put the finish date because you do not know the finish date yet. And then you click OK. All right. So now we already have some values. Okay. Some, you see, for earthwork, that activity alone only progress around 20%. Okay, only progress around 20%. And then the overall project completion financially, physically now is at 10%. But we do have another activity that we need to update. Let's click on survey and setting out zone B. That will be our last 3 activity that we already completed or partially completed within the first 2 weeks. The rest we do not touch anything. This is just example. Okay, now we update this thing again. Mark on track. Go update task. Let's assume that the activity start on 12th of October. Start at the same date as being pushed from the previous survey and setting out zone A. Okay, we assume, but then the progress is only 10%. Then we click OK. Okay, and you notice that this is the tentative values, not tentative value, the actual physical progress that we have. Supposingly, after 2 weeks, due to slight delay on the first activity, whatever it is, our progress is 11%, and our actual cost is only 12,200. And let's go back to our Excel. You notice that these are the value on actual. I put different color. See, on financial progress, on the first 2 weeks, the target is 19,000, but in reality, we are a little bit slow, late. That is the concept. 12,000 only. And what could be the variance? The variance is basically the differences between our target and our actual. Negative meaning to say we are running late. And in terms of physical progress is 11. And it shows the negative variance, meaning to say we are late, and because of late, that we do not do much in terms of activity number 2 and number 3 within the first 2 weeks of the project. Okay, that is basically the concept. Okay, what I can do, remember I need to save as. I need to save as similar to the folder number 2, but now we are working on folder number 3. So everything is basically working under folder number 3 now. We already finished on folder number 2, and we do have similar date as in folder number 2, but the folder number 3 is using actual measurement or actual data, and we assume that project already started, and then I save. Okay, and now update project based on this date. Okay, so that when you do the reporting, the data will be shown. Okay, sorry. Supposing okay, we are not supposed to update the project because that is for the folder number 2. So this is the data that we already finished, completed. Okay, now let's save this thing. We already done on this thing. Okay, 11%. All right, so let's say for the next 2 weeks, on the 4th week, you do the same thing. You choose whatever the task that you want to update, and then again, first thing first, you set your date. Okay, your date into the next 2 weeks. Click OK, and then you update each of the activity. Then the values will appear. You don't have to do anything else, because that is the amount that you are going to get. Okay, then basically you are ready to make comparison. Okay, you are ready to make comparison. Okay, now you see, you notice that in folder number 3, I only have 2 data. By right, I can generate many more data based on assumption of next 2 weeks and etc. But I do not want to do that. I just want to show you comparison. Okay, now, okay, I already completed this one. I click on, I think, report. Okay, you click on report, and you notice that there is a compare project. Click on compare project, and then the computer is asking you what to compare. So you click on browse. You say that you want to compare within the same date, but on the folder number 2. See, folder number 2, October. Then you open. Okay. Then you click OK. All right. Now you are going to see something is going to be open. Okay. So what is this thing is all about? Okay, this is what we call comparison. Okay, comparison, meaning to say, you notice that now the computer show the comparison between 2 folders. A stands for actual, which is what I am opening now. P stands for plan. You can take a look at between comparison and plan. You plan the project to be achieved as 15% physically and 19,000, but now your actual progress is only 11 and 12,000 you have spent. So meaning to say you are experiencing some delay. Okay, how many days of delay? 2 days. So that is basically the purpose of comparing 2 files. If you save the file into a proper place based on similar date, then you can make comparison in order for you to track, to write a report on whatever things, if it is necessary. This is not necessary anyway, but since the menu is there for us to use, so we can use the comparison. All right. Okay then. And you keep doing that for the rest of the date, so you will get basically all the values, okay, for each week, for instance. And what do you do with this value? Well, basically you can highlight all this value if you make into table, and then you can make what we call a graph based on line graph or whatever. This is what I come up with. See, for financial cash flow, you notice each every 2 weeks I do generate information. The target, which I call it plan, the value is there, okay, and then the actual one I only generate for the first 2 weeks only. I do not show the example for the rest of the thing. You can come up with your own, okay. But the most important thing, this graph show two things, okay. I hide the variance. By right, you can show the variance as well. There are two graphs here showing the plan versus actual. The red one is basically actual, and the blue one is basically the plan. This is what we call financial S-curve that show the axis in terms of cost. Of course, you can convert into a percentage if you want, just simply dividing the values with the overall project cost. This is what normally we put into our progress claim, what the client want, and in fact what we basically base on, okay, based on. Then how about physical? Go back to my sheet here. This is for financial, but this one is for physical. You notice the green one indicate the color, and then the yellow one indicate the color for targeted. The blue one is basically for the actual. And when I plot the graph, you see the blue one is basically the plan progress. The red one is basically the what we call actual, and the green one would be the variance. I put all the graph together. Okay, this is what we call physical progress. All right. So you see, Microsoft project can show you, okay, in terms of you can generate financial progress, physical progress, and whatnot. Okay, close comparison. I go back to my original, not original, the actual one, and then there is let me show you another one. Let's click on table here. Okay, table here. Tracking. Okay, how about variance? More table. Earn value cost indicator. Apply. See, earn value cost indicator. We call it CPI. CPI for cost, and then we do have what we call variance, more table, earn value schedule indicator. See, in terms of schedule, we are running late. Okay, so can we view on certain report? Let me show you in terms of progress. Earn value report. I'm not really sure whether it will show you the right one. Okay, because we need to set up I think we have not set up certain things here. Okay, so never mind. We can set up earn value at, you need to basically set up at what particular date, okay, that you want the report to generate. Then only it will generate the right report. Okay, visual report, earn value report over time, but I need to set up the date for that. Okay, all right, so go back to our task, report, project, task. Okay. Okay, report tools, design. Okay, so that's it. The one that I want to show with regard to that things. Okay, let me pause here. Okay, so the last one I would like to show you about the indicator. Okay, for instance, if you click on network diagram, let me see. You notice that there are some diagram being crossed, like this one. Some are partially crossed. When we are talking about project monitoring and control, what is monitoring? Monitoring is the process of gathering feedback or status quo about the project. So now, based on Microsoft project, we can basically see what are the completed activity and ongoing activity, even by looking at this so-called Gantt chart, PDM diagram. And then that will be one thing. Go back to Gantt chart. Again, we can take a look at the tracking gun. So tracking gun will show the status of our project, the baseline and whatnot for each activity. We can take a look at this thing and we can print so that people can understand. And then we can even go to table here. There are many tables that you can take a look at. For instance, earn values. Okay, earn value table. So the variant, cost variant, schedule variant, and whatnot. You can take a look at certain indicator, cost indicator, the CPI. What are the CPI values? One is okay. And then what could be the earn value schedule indicator, the SPI. See, you notice this column. And then you can also take a look at the report. There are so many reports that can tell us what could be the progress of our project. Okay, and for instance, if we go back to entry, you notice that the project duration is 79. So we are being extended 2 days beyond our original project time. Meaning to say we are running late a little bit. The last one that I want to show you about the what we call example of earn values. When you want to do earn values, first thing first, you must click status report. Okay, status report. Okay, go to project. Status date should be the one of the date that you choose. Let choose 14th of October. I already choose that thing. Then go to report, visual report. Okay, visual report, I click on earn value report. I choose days instead of week so that you can see more values. If you choose week or month, sometimes you couldn't see the exact lines. Okay, click on view. Okay, it will show you this thing which basically doesn't have any values, but remember to go into this. All the value are being shown in a table form. You need to expand this plus minus button here, make it bigger, make it you expand the lines value, then all the value is being shown. Click on chart, and these are the what we call earn value graph. The red one being attached to the planned value. The green one is the actual cost, and the earn value is similar to the actual cost because we do not put any different costs other than what being generated in the computer. By right, we can use different costs. Meaning to say, let's say we spend more than what we are supposed to. Then basically you will notice the yellow line will be different from the green line. Okay, so that is basically the usage of earn value. Earn value graph is the combination of time and then cost, whereas the one that I showed you before, this one, physical progress and then financial progress, we need to draw it separately. So traditionally, even until now, people are very used to drawing this kind of graph. There is nothing wrong, as long as the most important thing when you do the tracking or monitoring of the project, you must understand what is that graph is all about. That is the most important things. In terms of different tool, even if you want to use earn value, if you do not know the meaning of earn values, the meaning of SPI, TCPI and whatnot, then basically it is not going to be helpful to you. You must understand the fundamental, how earn value is being calculated. Then only you will appreciate the value that the graph give you. Whatever it is, these are what we call indicator. Indicator is only meant to help you understand or to have a quick look at the overview of things. In order for you to really understand what's going on, you need to further investigate. So indicator is just meant as a quick overview on something. It doesn't mean things are going to fall apart if you look at, if you see a negative value and whatnot. No. That is just indicator. Sometimes when we are talking about something without any indicator, it is quite difficult. How are you going to tell people in terms of the progress of the project? So that's why you put some kind of numbers, okay, attached to certain information that you want people to imagine in terms of progress of financial progress or physical progress. Okay, with that, thank you very much. We already completed 2 parts of the demonstration on how we manage a project using Microsoft Project. The first video was about to come up with a work program only. Okay, and then I also show you some of the issue with managing resource conflict, resource leveling. So we done with that thing. So using the same file, then I try to do some updating, and then how we generate values based on physical progress and financial progress and whatnot. Okay, thank you very much.